Welcome, everybody, to the Paddle and Fin Network. This is the final cast. I'm your host, Josh.
And I'm Brad.
And tonight, we have our very own Paddle and Fin outdoor woman, Susie Roloff.
Hey.
Hobie specialist.
That's right.
So we wanted to bring Susie on tonight, and because recently she upgraded her kayak from, well, I'll let you share that.
Sure.
So she's going to kind of go over, I think we're going to talk about all your kayaks, see where you came from and where you're at now. How's
Sure.
that sound?
Yeah, that'll work. I originally started off in a little Pelican Pursuit or something like that. Gosh, it seems like forever since I got that. But it was given to me by a good friend of mine back in about 2011. And I just kind of used that just to kind of pitter patter around, go out on some local lakes and whatnot. Didn't really fish a whole lot. And then when I went to a rec show here in Peoria in March of 2014, my current Hobie dealer, Quest Water Sports, was there, and I saw that they had the Hobie kayaks. I'd never heard of them, never seen them before, and after I saw what they could do, I was like, oh my God, I gotta have one. What do I need to do to get one of these? So got some more information about it, saved up some money, and I made my down payment on it and picked up my first blue Hobie Mirage Outback in June of 2014, and it was I think it was a 2014. And so I had that for 3 years, and it had the old well seat before they had updated it to the not quite the chair in the Pro Angler, but they had upgraded the seat in the Outback. So once they upgraded that, I was like, all right, I need to start looking into upgrading that. And then in the early spring of 2017, I had went up there to get a couple parts for it, and I saw an orange limited edition Outback. And once I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, I think I got to have this now. And they had only made 500 of them. So I did a trade-in, and I had that, and I named that one the Orange Crush. I mean, obviously, why not?
Yeah.
And I loved it. I took that thing everywhere. I beat the crap out of it, and I put a lot of modifications on it too. I put 2 H rails on the side of it, so that way I could easily mount stuff on it a lot better without having to drill a lot of extra holes. I put lights on it. I rigged it out pretty good. And then kind of this year, I had really been thinking and pondering about upgrading again to something else. And after I saw the 360s come out, I was like, okay, I want something, I want something else. And I love the Outback, how, it's kind of small and easy to maneuver, easy to carry around. But what I was lacking on was space. And especially when it comes to holding rods and stuff like that, I'd have to put them in my crate rod holder and whatnot. And so, this past, when did I go up and get it? Was it October? Man, I can't even remember. Yeah, it was like October-ish. Went up to Quest and traded in the Orange Crush, and I got a 2019 Pro Angler 14. So I went big and went home pretty much. So, but yeah, I was actually pretty lucky to get to take it out for 2 days during the Indiana Kayak Anglers the Turkey Bowl. And I got to test it out for 2 days out there. So definitely have some adjustments to make and whatnot. But I absolutely love it. It's much bigger. It's roomier. I can hold a lot of stuff. The biggest con for me right now for it is because I'm a shorter person. The seat is much more higher behind me, and in my Outback, it was really short, so I'd be able to reach behind me really easily.
Yeah.
Where in the Pro Angler, it's like really tall, so I'm like ugh, I can't really reach behind me. So it's just a matter of, getting used to it and maybe getting like a little seat or something to put in there. So, but yeah, I'll definitely be making some modifications to it over this winter. I'm going to be modifying my trailer because the PVC pipes that I have on there now would fit my Outback, but they don't fit the Pro Angler. They just got to be a little bit wider apart. And then, of course, this kayak is actually my personal kayak, so I can do whatever I want to it. And then come this spring, I'll get my team boat from Quest. Not quite certain which one I'll be getting yet, but I'll have to rig my trailer up to hold both kayaks. So I'll be working on that. Yeah, I'll be working on that this winter. I'll be making some videos on how I'm going to set it up and whatnot. That way some folks can kind of see how I've got it rigged up with the PVC pipe. Because not only do I have the kayak sitting on the pipes, but at the very end, the pipes will kind of come down and taper. That way, when I'm rolling it up to the back of my trailer, I can just push it right up the pipes and it'll slide right on instead of having to pick it up and be all awkward.
Those kayaks are not light either.
No, that would probably be the other con to it is I went from a 70-ish pound kayak to a 120-pound kayak.
I didn't realize the Outback was that light, actually.
Yes. Yep. That was the beauty of it. And I could haul that thing anywhere. I could go on rivers. I could trudge through mud and stuff like that and not have any problem. And, this next year, I might have a little bit of a difficulty, but I think the pros are going to outweigh the cons in it.
Yeah. That Outback seems like it would be a nice little paddle or pedal riverboat.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it definitely worked really good for me on the White River when I was in Indiana too for the Hobie satellite event. So it did pretty good.
How do you go about taking your drive out before you get through rapids? I always was curious about that.
Yeah. When I was in my Outback, I would just kind of I'd be able to see ahead of me far enough to where it would get shallow enough for me to have to pop the drive up. And with the current moving pretty good, I just have it up and out most of the time anyway and just kind of use my paddle. But then going upstream would be a little bit different. I'd have to pay attention to when it would get shallow and when it get deep. As soon as it get deep, I'd pop my drive back in and pedal for a while. Then once I get to a shallow area, I would either pedal or it was just easier to get up out of the kayak and then just kind of dredge it through the shallow areas.
Yeah. I know I'd probably end up breaking a Mirage drive in the river. I've broken so many like transducer arms. Because I'm one of those guys that I cast till the last second before I get through rapids, and if I miss a spot, it's just like it drives me nuts. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they would like. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess. Do they hold up to the abuse?
Oh yeah. I dragged that thing through so much sand and rock on the White River. The biggest setback for me is since it was an older model, it didn't have the retractable transducer mount. So with my Lowrance Elite 9, it's got the bigger transducer, so it actually sticks out underneath the kayak. And I had to get the Burley Pro cover for it. And I broke that thing. I broke it like 3 times just because, I've hit things, ran over things and whatnot. So yeah. I broke it on the White River. But I mean, like I was dragging that thing and that thing, they're a beast. You would have to like hit like, I don't know, like a big sword or something like a lot. And then it'll finally puncture it. But like I've had deep scrapes in it and it didn't phase it. So I mean, it just might look ugly on the bottom, but it holds up through rough and tough. So
that's cool.
Yep.
So what was your opinion from jumping from the Outback to the Pro Angler 14 when you were out at the Turkey Bowl? Did you find it kind of harder to cover water because you were used to such a light boat, and then you got into basically the yacht of kayaks?
Right. A little bit. I haven't had enough time on the water to kind of really make that opinion yet, but another con to it is the Pro Angler 14. It is a beast. It's a big kayak, so the turning capability of it's there, but it takes a lot longer on a bigger boat like that, and you definitely get turned in the wind a lot too in it. But what really surprised me was the speed that I could maintain in it. Like once I got up to speed, like a lighter boat was next to me and I was like outpacing them. I was like, oh, okay, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
But as far as like, the maneuverability, it's not bad. It's a little something to get used to. But again, the other factors of the space and just being able to stand up very easily in it too are just going to outweigh that maneuverability. I'm not much of a like a power fisher in a sense. I kind of like to linger around in areas. I'll kind of cruise around a bit, but it might potentially be a drawback for me, but then again, I still have to, get used to it and get a feel for it and figure out how much, I'll be able to cover in it and whatnot. So.
Yeah, I could tell you're not a power fisherman. Just by the bait video you posted, I was like, man, these are all finesse lures. I like it.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah.
I'm a finesse guy too. I love soft plastics and stuff.
Right. Yep. Yep.
That's cool.
So, do you have any plans to take it into some bigger water this year?
Oh, yeah. I've definitely got, there's going to be Gunnersville coming up here at the end of March, beginning of April. And looking at maps and stuff like that, it's not like big like Lake Michigan, which I will be on this coming year for the salmon tournament that I do every year. So I'm always looking forward to that. And then, of course, Lake St. Clair. I'll probably be spending a good 3.5 days on Lake St. Clair on it. So I'm super excited to see how it handles.
I bet that kayak handles those waves like it's nothing.
Right. Yeah. I would feel the waves pretty good in the outback, and I could turn pretty good, but like I've seen, just from being out in bigger water and how the pro anglers handle. So yeah, it's going to handle it no problem.
Yeah, that's going to be nice. How does that Mirage Drive act in like thick vegetation?
With my previous kayaks and the Pro Angler, I would have to say that I am actually going to miss my turbo fin drive. So my turbo fin drive had like a bigger and longer fin to it, and compared to what the 180 drive is, like there's less to it. And there has been talk of it, of the main like metal shaft breaking right at the drive part. I might be a little concerned about it, but when I'm going through thick vegetation here at Banner, like even if I had my turbo drive in there, I gotta pull it up because that stuff is so thick. I'm just gonna kind of sit there and I'm just gonna paddle. It's just gonna be so much easier. But like kind of lighter stuff and whatnot, I haven't had a chance to really test it out myself. But I'll be able to, make a pretty good comparison, hopefully by mid-season this year on the 180 drive and what my turbo fin drive was able to do. So,
yeah, I kind of got the impression, even like when I was in the big rig and the QSAFD, and you can pop their drives up, which is real nice, but try to test by going through like little patches. I didn't try to go through anything real thick because the kayaks aren't mine, so I didn't want to damage them. But
right,
it creates like a drag in a sense. Even though you're kind of getting through it, it slows you down. So it's almost not really worth in my opinion, to try to push through that stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Even with the drive, it would pick that stuff up and get rid of a lot of it, but you start getting through some of the good green healthy stuff that's got a lot of fibers in it, and it's wrapping up and it doesn't want to cut through regardless.
Yep. And then that'll be actually one nice thing about the 180 drive is when I do pedal through some heavy stuff, I can flip it into the reverse mode, give it a quick purge, and it'll knock some of it off, and then just be able to turn it right back on. But even in my turbo fins, like even if I only had like maybe 3 or 4 strands of weeds and stuff on there, they would still kind of like feel weird in a sense. I guess that would kind of be like a little like annoyance type thing, and I have to pull it up and let the stuff loose or whatever. But yeah, and to me, I'm just like, even if I lose, I'm not worried about losing time to pulling my drive up and paddling or anything like that type of thing. So it's just a matter of, all right, am I actually going to really try to pedal through this, or am I just going to save myself the time and effort and pop up my drive and just pedal through it? So yeah.
So let's go back to the Hobie Outback you had. Since this is a product review, kind of go through like the pros and cons of that kayak, just to give some people some information about it.
Yeah. Definitely the pros. So it's a lighter kayak and easy to maneuver, whether it be on big water, small water, through weeds and stuff like that. It could turn really nicely. Like as soon as you turn your rudder, you're turning, whereas the PA, you turn, you gotta kind of really pedal into your turn a little bit. Let's see here. Some of the cons I would say is limited space. Definitely for sure. You don't have your horizontal rod holders. They do make like rod holders that you could drill into, but that's just more holes you gotta drill into your kayak and everything. Although the newer Outbacks, they made them with recessed H rails, which I was really jealous of.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. I was like, that was really good on their part to do that. And putting that square hatch in there is like vital too, because those round hatches, I mean, they're great and all, but having that square hatch on my Outback, that was awesome because I could stuff a lot more stuff in there. My square battery case would go right in there, and it just felt bigger too, having that right in there. Let's see here, what else? The older model, I would say again, would be the not having the retractable transducer mount, because again, if you've got your mount that sticks out underneath it, you're more risk to damaging it if you don't have a cover on it or anything like that. But I know pretty much all the newer models have that retractable mount, so that was awesome for them to make that upgrade.
That is a real cool feature. I was looking at one at Strictly Sale when we had that thing going on, and they had an Outback and a new 360, and it had that what do you call it, Guardian? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like a Guardian, or I can't remember the exact name of it, but
I thought that was a cool feature.
Yes, yeah, because I mean, and you can control it too. So like, if you want it to go all the way up when you're beaching, you just pull your little handle thing and it pulls it right up. And then when you're ready to make it go back down on the water, it'll go down. But even when it's down, if you go over like a stump or something like that, it's not going to bump right on it. It's going to retract up because of that bungee system that it's got in there. So
yeah,
it's a big peace of mind when you know that you're not going to, go through 5 different covers in a season.
That, and you don't need transducer arms and all that other stuff.
Yes, yeah, and that would kind of be the other thing too, is Hobie makes everything transducer ready. So you don't have to worry about having an arm or anything like that. The Outbacks and the PAs a little bit. The PAs have a lot more arm space in a sense, but the Outbacks, getting your hand up there in the hole to pull the cords through and everything, that was a little bit of a pain. So, and when I mounted the Boondocks on the Outback, that was challenging too.
Why is that?
So, well, the brackets have to go up inside to mount the kind of bolts and
yeah.
frame to. And so I was doing it by myself, and I had to try to figure out a creative way to like hold the inside bracket up because I couldn't really have it upside down and everything. So what I eventually figured out doing is I took a ceiling fan chain because it was light enough and I could tie a knot on one end, but it was sturdy enough that I could kind of feed it back through the hole through which I was feeding the bracket through. So I just pulled that up there and then drilled in drilled in my hole and then secured it on there. So it was a little tricky, and get my hands up in there too to try to figure out where everything should mount was a bit challenging too. So
I bet.
But those boondocks though, hands down, those are worth their weight in gold. Because I went through a couple different carts, even with the Outback. Like it's a light kayak, but having the ease of mind of just unplugging your wheel and you're ready to go is just so much better than lifting up your kayak or tipping it on its side, to put a cart underneath it or whatever. That was just a pain in the butt. And as soon as I put those boondocks on there, it was life-changing. I was like, this is so much easier.
I'm kind of waiting on Yak Attack to like create their own cart or something,
Right. Yeah.
I have a feeling they're going to come out with something cool eventually.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, there are some flaws to the boondocks, but after I installed them, I really didn't have any other issues except for the little bearing in the middle of the wheel would kind of come off every now and then. So I'd be pulling along and it'd just come off and it would kind of tip over, but
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's funny.
Let's see here. What else? One of the other, I guess, downsides to the Outback, and I think the newer models have a rudder system or handles on both sides, but mine only had the rudder on the left-hand side. So I kind of wish I had it on both sides so that I could, control it from whichever. But again, that's like a little kind of minor thing. A good pro to the Outback, and I think they do this on all of them now, is having the bigger rudder in the back. And I know that they recently upgraded to have their rudder, I think, underneath, kind of like they do in the Pro Anglers now in their newer models of Outbacks. But mine was the one where it would just flip up in the back. And it was okay, but a big kind of annoying thing, too, was when I'd get through some heavy weeds, and if I'd forget to pull it up and I'd be stuck in weeds, I'd have to pull it up and then pull it down and pull it up and pull it down to get the weeds off of the rudder. So that was kind of another con to that. But again, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't really a huge deal type of thing. So let's see here. What else?
That Outback's really fast, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think of the fastest. Like if I really wanted to get up and go like as super fast as I can in those turbo fins, I could probably go like 5 or something like that.
Wow.
So I could maintain.
That's torpedo speed.
I know. I could maintain 3.5 for quite a while when I'm like, getting in the groove and everything and going. But then, I get tired after a little while. But I mean, I can maintain a good speed and keep that up all day. So yeah, it was a pretty fast boat. I haven't really tested to see how fast I can go in the Pro Angler yet, but this next year I'll have to play around with that a little bit.
Pedaling down with current, you probably hit like 7 mile an hour.
Right? Yeah. Like zoom.
Cool. That's awesome.
Did you put the boondocks on the PA-14?
I sure did. Yep. I got the boondocks. I think like a couple days after I got the kayak, and then I got them installed. I got them installed just shortly before the Indiana tournament, so I was able to use them then, and they, again, like life-changing and like so worth their weight in gold. And having a truck now too has changed a lot for me as well. I used to have a RAV4, it was like a crossover SUV type thing, and now I've got the truck. So I got the Boondocks bed extender, and that has been like a game changer too, because like I don't have to worry about pulling the trailer anymore or anything like that. And having the Boondocks on the back of that kayak. All I have to do is just pull it up on the top, and then I just go to the back with the wheels on, and I push it up, and it slides right on, and it's easy as pie. It's awesome.
Yeah, and when we were at the Turkey Bowl, I remember getting ready to ask you if you needed some help, and I was like, nope, she's got it.
Yep, just slide it right on. And, yep.
I thought about getting those for the Bonafide, but I keep hearing stories of people's kayaks cracking and stuff, so I'm like, I don't know if I want to do it.
Right. Yeah, you know, and I've heard that too. And, you know, when I put them on my Outback, I would check it occasionally. Never had a cracking issue or anything like that. I don't know if it was just like certain models or just where they would mount it on there, but I never had a problem with it. And then when I installed it on the Pro Angler, I tried to put them on there on kind of like the thickest part and whatnot. So
yeah, Hobie's plastic's already pretty thick. That's what makes it heavy, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't imagine they would crack a Hobie.
No, yeah. I mean, I've heard of people doing it, but I also wonder if it's just because of having so much weight in it too. Might have been a part of it. So, like, people will really load their kayaks. You know, I mean, it's already 120 pounds by itself. You know, you put all your gear and everything on there, you know, you're looking at like 175 pounds plus. So
this weighs more than a John boat.
Right.
That's crazy.
And then you also wonder what kind of terrain they're going over, you know?
Yeah. Make it all bouncy.
Yep. That would kind of be another like pro and con. So when I went up to Minocqua last year for a tournament, I went to this little secluded lake, and it was like a 3/4 of a mile portage just to get to the lake. And so having that lighter kayak with the Outback was great. You know, I was able to like, you know, kind of pick the front end of it up and like push it or whatever. Or if I wanted to pull it, I could pull it too. Oh, that reminds me too. So kind of a con to the Outback is the handle in the front. It would hurt my hand after pulling it for so long. You know, I mean, but then again, you know, when are you really going to pull your kayak for more than 10 minutes? You know, unless you're portaging.
Unless you're me and Justin and carry him through the woods just to get to a spot that is not fished in Ohio. I've carried my kayak like probably 1/4 mile or more, or even a 1/2 mile probably, just to get to a fishing hole.
Yeah.
So I know that feeling. And Jackson's handles are not the most comfortable handles either.
Yep. And I wish I would have gotten some sort of like tow strap or something like that when I was on the White River in Indiana, because pulling that thing through the shallow water, I was like, oh God, why wasn't I smart and brought a rope?
Josh has one right there.
Yeah. See, I wish I would have had something like that.
Is that the road one?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just got that one.
Nice.
Susie, check out Rogue Fishing, and then check out Stearns. Stearns makes these sort of elastic kind of, I don't even know, like if you want to call it a strap, but they have really big carabiners on it, and I have one.
Oh,
but I had a waistband that I used to put it around, so when I would wade fish, I'd have the kayak in tow. And but I found that I didn't start using it very often because I kind of got freaked out by the boat getting swept away with me strapped to it.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I stopped kind of doing that, but I still utilized the strap and the belt pull if I was going by myself. But
as long as you're wearing your PFD, you'll be fine.
Well, yeah, but still, I mean,
but still, it's just that thought of, you know, having a 80-pound kayak tied around your waist and then going downstream with it. You're just like, maybe not so much.
Sounds like fun to me. Let's do it.
But I used to use the belt to pull also because it added length. Well, the belt got to be a pain because sometimes it would come undone. So I checked out Rogue Fishing because I was looking for a phone leash, and they had this package for like $55, and it had like the phone leash and 2 or 3 different sizes leashes and this thing in it. Nice. And I was like, I was sold on it right away.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Cool. I had a question, but before we went on to that, I just completely forgot it.
Right. Yeah. Other plans that I have for my kayak over this winter is I'm going to put lights on it again because just my brother's really kind of savvy with that. So he's a fire chief for a local fire department, and he knows like so much stuff. Like he knows how to work on automobiles, equipment. Like he maintains and updates the all the fire trucks. He does all the electrical work. You know, he's like a jack of all trades, and so he likes doing all the lighting and stuff. And he was who did most of the lighting on my Orange Crush. And so he's like, well, you get me the material and then you just let me have fun with it. I'm like, okay. So he's talking about when like I open up my front hatch and if it's dark out, he'll have like a light in there. You know, I'm like, geez, you're getting fancy on me now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll put some lights on it. Got the boondocks on it. What else was I going to do with it? I'm going to try to make my own like H crate in a sense. So I'm gonna try to modify my current milk crate and attach some like carabiner straps to the bottom of it because the H crate has these straps and carabiners so that it'll clip onto the back of the PA so that if you tip over, your crate doesn't go away. So I figure that'll be pretty easy to do, but I've still got leftover rails that I had put on my Outback. So I'm like, well, maybe I could try to get creative and put those on top of the H crate or my my milk crate so that if I wanted to mount something on the back of there. But the tricky thing is how to get those to mount onto a plastic milk crate. So still trying to figure that out. So,
yeah.
But other than that, nothing too crazy on it. So
I remembered my question now. I don't know why I was going to bring it up, but the Hobie Mirage I11S, have you ever gotten one of those?
I11S.
That's the inflatable.
Oh, no, I haven't.
That always looked really interesting to me. I always wanted to check it out, but never did.
Yeah, I've seen it. I believe I've seen it at Quest before. It's never really been like an interest for me per se, just because of what I do and everything. So I haven't really pursued checking into it or anything like that. But it'd be definitely interesting and compactable for sure.
Yeah, I bet that thing's super fast too.
Right.
Josh, you were going to say something. I knew you were.
I was yawning. Sorry.
It looked like you're about to say something.
I was trying not to yawn. I didn't want to trigger a serial yawn by everybody. But...
Right. Yep. Once somebody goes, then everybody goes.
Let's see. These H rails. Those look interesting too. Those are the ones that kind of they're shaped like I don't know how you explain them.
It's like a
long U, maybe U shape.
Kind of, sort of. So they're how do you explain it? They're
I see them now. Yeah, it's they're angled on both sides, and it's just like a rail on top.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm thinking of the other plates that come on the Outback, the ones in the back, the black things. I forget what those are called.
Like the bungee strap things?
Yeah, is that what that's for?
So like the bungee straps on the Outback in the back and even on the PA, those are just like, I guess, quote unquote, like cargo straps. So like if you wanted to strap like gear bags and stuff back there, I would strap those through my H crate a little bit.
Those right there?
Those in the back. Yep. So yeah, those don't have the rails to it. Up in the front parts, they've got the metal rails to it. So if you look at the Pro Angler, and the rails will run like kind of higher up, it's more or less just so that you can have a place to mount stuff. So like your fish finder screen, rod holders, other type of stuff like that. Like I got a I got like a Hobie gearbox, and it's got a little clip to clip right onto the H rails. So it's nice to have the rails to just pretty much clip and go of whatever you want on there, instead of having to drill, a hole for this fish holder, a hole for my fish finder, or a hole for this, type of thing. So, yep.
Yeah, those looked interesting. I didn't know what they were.
Yep. Yeah, so they got like little bungee things in the back, so like you can like attach stuff to it. It's kind of hard to explain by like showing. You'd have to actually like be there to see. And once you see how it's done, then you're like, oh, okay, I see what you mean now. So.
Yeah. These new seats on the newer models, when did they start making those? Do you know?
Those came out in, I think, 2018, either 17 or 18, because they went from the well seat, and then they upgraded to
the adjustable arms, and then like the button on the back and stuff.
Well, on the Outback they don't have arms. It's just the back, but it does have the lumbar adjustment, and then it has like a little kickstand thing on the bottom if you wanted to like raise it up a little bit, and then there's a bar underneath it that you can adjust like the front part of the bottom seat, the height. On the Pro Angler, it's like a lawn chair in a sense. You've got the arms, and it's got tall legs and whatnot. So, but yeah, for the Outback, it used to have just the well seat. So it used to be just like a soft formed pad. There wasn't really adjusting anything except for the side straps, and that's really all you had for support. So it'd get pretty rough when you'd spend all day out in that thing. A vantage seat, that's what it was. Vantage seat.
Yeah, that new seat is impressive. I don't know if you've seen it or not, Josh, but man, it has like multiple like adjustment points. And then the adjustment points on the armrest. I thought that was real cool.
It's clever, yeah, because like all you have to do is just spin it one way to make it go forward, and then if you want to loosen it up, then you just turn it the other way. It's just like a little rope system. It's pretty ingenious.
Is there like any complaints with the cables ever snapping or anything with that?
Not that I've heard or been aware of. I mean, these things, they're rough and tough. I mean, if somebody broke one, it's probably because they were doing something they weren't supposed to. So.
Jumping up and down.
Right, yeah.
That's cool. Cool.
So what are you looking forward to the most in the new boat?
Oh, man. Being able to stand up and stretch out. That's probably the biggest thing. Because, I mean, you think about how long we spend, our time in a kayak during a tournament. You're in there like, 6 a.m. to 2 or 3 o'clock. That's a long time. And that's if you don't get up or if you even have the ability to get up. So just being able to stand up, kind of stretch around a little bit too, and being able to stand up and fish. I could do it in my Outback. And it's not that I was afraid of it or anything, but just it wasn't as easy to kind of get up and do that. Whereas the Pro Angler, easy. It's just like getting up and standing up like in a regular chair.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. I mean, even when we have I've had a Coosa HD, and I've always been able to stand in it. I was able to stand in it from day one, but like you said, you spend a good 4 or 5 hours solid sitting down, and you go to stand up, and you're like, good Lord, I should have done that like 3 or 4 times already.
Yep.
And I didn't ever really experience that very much till this year, till I started fishing lakes, because like Brad and I are both river guys, and I tend to get out of the boat a lot anyway. So I'd never really had to experience that so much until I'd spent some significant seat time. Like you're looking at 3 or 4 hours straight, and you're just like, why is my legs feel numb?
Yep.
And then you're like, maybe I shouldn't stand right now, but
yep.
But it makes a big difference when those boats are that stable to be able to just kind of stand up and feel comfortable, because you are trying to stretch out, and you're tense, you're kind of hurting a little bit, and can't imagine trying to stand in an unstable boat when your legs and back are feeling that way. So
right.
Yep. I used to have a boat that I couldn't stand in, so I know the pain. And it did not even have a seat like the Hobie, so.
Oh, yeah.
It was just like one of those plastic molded in seats,
Oh, yep. Yeah.
It sucked.
Yeah. And that was the same thing with my very first kayak, that little Pelican. It was just that kind of molded seat and had like that little plastic back to it, and that was it. And like I'd try to go out all day in that thing, but like of course it was a sitting kayak too, so getting in and out of that thing was terrible too.
Oh yeah.
So,
but the thing I always recommend for people to go out and try boats, because I took one trip and the Field and Stream sitting inside Brad. I don't even know what it was called, but the thing was awful. It was the most uncomfortable fishing experience I've ever had in my life. And I literally almost didn't. I almost just said, no, I'm not going to kayak fish. Like, it was that bad. I was like uncomfortable the whole time, and it was just like Susie mentioned, it was super hard to get in and out. And being a river guy, we were on the river for a good 6 to 8 hours that day. And I like to get out a lot of times and fish riffles and everything like that, and not worry about being in the boat and like pick apart a section of the river. And I'm like, man, I don't even want to get out of this thing. I don't want to get back into it, Like,
right. Yeah. Yep.
It was awful, and that's why I decided when I did decide to stick with it, was I'm like, I'm not going out to just go buy one of these, these cheaper kayaks. And not that there's anything wrong with anybody doing that. If that's all you can afford, that's all you can afford to get out in the water, then do it. But I was like, I waited another 1.5 years to buy a kayak because of that experience. I was like, I don't want to make it unenjoyable, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. What sacrifice are you going to be making when you invest in kind of the cheaper kayaks? A lot of people don't even know about that, when they first want to get into it, because they're like, oh, I really want to get into this, but my budget is only $500. So, you're going to be sacrificing a lot, but, it's just a matter of, all right, can you just bear and grunt through it until you can afford that better kayak, and, not let that crappy boat sway you from keep on going. So, yep.
It's about a lot of these companies now too, that are like, we got Crescent Kayaks coming out, and they have some really seriously price-friendly kayaks that have comfort, Didn't really see that. It took, you had to be looking upwards to hit around the $1,000 mark to start getting, seats that are worth sitting in for 6 or 7 hours, but kind of cool. You saw Jackson do it. You even saw like Hobie do it. They were still on the higher end price wise, but with the introduction to the Outback, and what's the other one that they have?
They've got a Revolution, Outback, Pro Angler. Gotta think here for a second. Let's see here. Because the Revolution is a lot like the the Compass. Are you thinking of the Compass?
Yes. Yep. That's the newest one, isn't it?
Yes. Yep.
That was the one that was supposed to rival Pelican's new pedal drive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That. If you're gonna go after a pedal drive, I'm definitely gonna go after that one over the Pelican.
Yes. Yep.
Exactly. They're almost the same price point too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
you're just gonna get a better quality out of Hobie all around.
Yeah. I went through two crappy kayaks before I found the one that was good for me. So
yeah.
Don't be like me, listeners. Be like somebody else that only goes through one, or do your research.
Right.
I didn't do that.
Yeah. And, that's another thing, too, is like, you can do a lot of research, but also it's about like actually getting in them. And that can be very challenging because like where I'm at, there isn't anything that has like any like demo days or anything like that. Not in Peoria, not in Bloomington. You'd have to go up to Ottawa to Quest when they do a demo day, or yeah, that's kind of really about it. So you'd have to drive a few hours. So I'm actually going to try to see about getting a demo day with Hobie at least down here, maybe at Banner or somewhere that's you know pretty
idea.
decent. Right? Yeah.
I've got your calling. Guess what you need to do? Open your own paddle shop and have all the demos.
Dude, I know. I totally would, but like it takes a lot to start a business around here. So I'm just kind of like, well, and my pockets are pretty empty right now too.
Plus that would take away from fishing time too.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm just like, maybe when I retire, then I might, you know, we'll see. There are a couple of shops around here. There's a Bushwhacker in Peoria, which I need to get in. I've been meaning to get in touch with them, just to see, you know, if they do anything, are they willing to do anything, just to try to get more involvement with like, you know, kayak fishing and whatnot around here. And then in Bloomington, you know, I don't know if there's anything in Bloomington. So yeah, there's a market out here for it because, you know, we got the Illinois River, but I mean, again, you don't really want to kayak on the Illinois River, let's be honest. But I mean, like you got Banner Marsh, you got Emmaquan, you got Spring Lake. You know, there's a lot of different resources around here. Even towards Bloomington, you've got Evergreen Lake, you've got Miller Park. And then there's also Bloomington Lake. There's a lot of different areas that are just waiting for somebody to come in and be like, all right, let's do this. So,
yeah, that's a good idea.
Yep.
Real good idea. Completely forgot what I was going to say again. It's all good.
Oh, Brad.
Huh?
Oh, Brad.
Oh, no, I was gonna say Loveland Canoe and Kayak. It just hit me. I don't know why. we try to do demo day at least once a month down here in Ohio. So
nice.
Our property's on a river, so if you want to try a kayak, you just carry it down to the water, a couple hundred feet, maybe less than that actually.
Right.
You could probably slide down that hill in the kayak into the water.
We should try that this year.
On a rock zone.
I don't care. I would try it.
You know, I don't know if you guys are ever on Reddit or not, but there was a recent video of some people in sitting kayaks who were racing down a snow hill.
Yeah.
I was like,
I've heard about it.
Kayak sledding or kayak skiing or something like that. I was like, oh man.
That'd be awesome.
Like water drainage chute thing that's like all overgrown with vegetation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a cool video.
Crazy. Yeah.
I don't know if I would do it though. That's like Eric Jackson stuff right there.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. If you're not careful though, you could end up in a bad situation.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun.
Right.
Well, was there anything else you wanted to cover?
Good question.
We can't really talk much about the PA since you haven't used it as much, but
right, yeah.
This is like we're gonna do a series of kayaks this coming season. So started off with Hobie. I think we're gonna do a Bonafide episode. You guys done a Jackson episode already. We'll get some other kayak companies on here and have them talk about it.
Heck yeah. I figure once I've had you know, I'm hoping that the weather is somewhat decent in March so that I can get out and kind of fine tune it before Gunnersville. We'll see. This weather lately has been like scary because, you know, we're in January and it's like 50 degrees out. So I'm like,
waiting for the bad winter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, if it's nice on March, I'll get to Banner a few times, get it kind of tested out and rigged up and whatnot. So I'm just ready to get out again already.
Yeah, me too.
Josh, you got anything else?
No, I think we covered it all. I appreciate the time, Susie.
Yeah, anytime, guys. Yeah, super excited. And yeah, probably maybe toward mid to late season, I'll definitely do a review again and be like, all right, now that I've had a good season to, fish in it, and depending on what my team boat is going to be, hopefully a 360. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Oh my God. It'd be so
if
awesome.
it is, we'll definitely get you on to talk about that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because that looks interesting.
I know. Yeah. I'm definitely going to test one out for sure, because I'll be helping out with their demo days this year. But yeah, hopefully. But I'm not too greedy. So.
So you're on the Hobie team. If anybody has any questions, where can they get a hold of you?
So I got a couple different channels. So my main Facebook page, just look for Susie Roloff, and then I've got my Adventures with Outdoor Woman Facebook page, and then of course I'm my own host with Paddle and Fin as well, Adventures with Outdoor Woman, and I'm also on Instagram, Outdoor Woman 84. You can catch me on there as well, or if you want to email me too, just outdoorwoman84@gmail.
Sweet.
Pretty easy. Yep.
Sounds good. Well, I think that's all we have.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
You like to take us out, Brad?
Sure. Why not? Yeah, we'll see you guys next Friday. Not sure what we have planned yet, but we'll surprise you as usual. So
Thursday.
Yep. Oh, Thursday. Yeah, I'm used to doing the reel down still. Sorry. But anyway, we'll see you guys next Thursday. Have a good week.
Check out the website, guys. Paddle, the letter N and fin.com. Also check out YouTube, youtube.com/paddle and fin. If you got a question, comment, want to hear from a future guest, feel free to email us at paddle, the letter N and fin@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media. We're doing giveaways, announcements, things like that at Facebook and Instagram at Paddle and Fin. Shout out to our show supporters, Rocktown Adventures, Loveland Canoe and Kayak, Hammered Lures, Fish Mob Lures, TRC Covers, Ketch Products. Go to ketchproducts.com. You could put the Paddle and Fin logo right on your catch board. Don't forget to go over and pick up your JigMasters Jigs. Use promo code PNF20 and save 20% today. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast on whatever platform you're listening to. It helps grow the audience, helps others find our podcast. So please drop a 5-star rating in on the podcast platform you're listening on. Don't forget about the recycled plastics program, you guys. Take your used plastic baits, put them in an envelope, mail them to the address in the show notes. Our man Eric Richards at Hammered Lures melts those down, makes new baits, and donates them to various chapters of Heroes on the Water.